Hi, I'm Warren Sprouse. This is the Bible Forum. We're here every Sunday night from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can tune in. You go to the website, thebibleforum.net. I want to talk to you tonight about your problem. What's your problem? There are things in our lives that really dog us. We're not so sure where they come from, but we know that everybody in the world has them. Just sit and talk to somebody, anybody, and you'll find out that you're not alone and that you're not unique, that God hasn't cursed you. It happens all the time. We live in a fallen world. It's not perfect. Things break. Things wear out. People die. They get sick. The best plan can come unraveled without any hesitation. And there isn't enough planning in the world that's sufficient. But there are people in this world who continue to make the same mistakes over and over. There are people in this world that just seem to walk around with a dark cloud over their head. They never seem to get ahead, and they don't seem to know how to fix it. Sometimes they don't even realize it's happening. They live with heartache, or they cause it. They live with financial pressures, strain, physical things. They look around and they blame the circumstances. They blame other people. They never quite get it. But think about this. When you're young, you might be able to eat 2,500 calories a day and not gain a pound. But there aren't a lot of people who can do that into their 40s. And if you watch young people, you'll see it. Anytime after 25, people start to put on weight. And about 45, they realize this is untenable, and they spend the rest of their life trying to get it off, or to keep it down, or to do something. It's because we're not paying attention. We've stretched our bodies with all of this food, and we've conditioned that body to desire huge quantities of empty carbohydrates and calories. We just can't live like that. How many children fail to get an adequate education? How many children have very little regular exercise in their schedules? We used to go out and play every day. We would cry if we couldn't go out and play. These kids don't want to go out. They certainly don't want to play. How many learn good social skills? How many grow up to reap what they've sown and then blame everybody else? You see what I mean? Life is a battle. It's not a picnic. Choices are made, and those choices are not always the best, but they always come back around. Whatever the choice is, it will circle back around in another form, and it will either bless your heart or it'll curse your very existence. And we have very few and very little to blame except ourselves. We find a lot of external reasons. We can point to things we can blame, but in the end, our lives are not rewarding because we haven't done what we need to do to make them that way. Did you take your parents' advice in choosing a mate, both in terms of the time and the type? Or did you choose one that made you feel special? Or one that made you feel like you were needed? Did you stay in school and get a good education, an education that would prepare you for an effective life? Or did you drop out? Staying in school, just not doing the work. Did you quit school? Did you dawdle at life and perhaps pursue a master's degree in French medieval poetry? Young people for the last 50 years or so have lived with the mistaken idea that life is good unless somebody or something messes it up. When the reality is that life is hard and then you die. Deal with it. How many serious medical conditions are congenital? And how many are environmental, behavioral, dietary, sexual? How many psychological problems are really beyond our control? Ask a psychotherapist or a behavioral psychologist. Unless it's a systemic, unless the problem is systemic, a change in attitude and behavior will generally fix it. We are not the victims we think we are. How many people are poor due to events beyond their control? Well, life is hard. It's unrelenting. Things happen. But the vast majority of our problems are self-inflicted. We do it. Bad choices. Don't hate me. I'm just telling it to you. I don't make it up. How many people have come into this country unable to speak the language, with no education, having no marketable skills, in a very short period of time are able to succeed beyond anything the average American can imagine? Booker T. Washington started a school in Tuskegee, Alabama for black folks soon after the war between the states. By 1905, of all the graduates from Tuskegee Institute, only one had been sentenced to a penitentiary, and Tuskegee produced more self-made millionaires than Harvard, Yale, and Princeton combined. What were they doing different? They had a motivated bunch of people. That's what they did different. These people were motivated. They were slaves, the children of slaves, and they didn't want that. Washington's observation was, quote, "Those who have accomplished the greatest results are those who never grow excited or lose self-control, but are always calm, self-possessed, patient, and polite." What was his secret to success? He said it was the Bible. He said no man can read the Bible and be lazy. Christianity increases a man's capacity for labor. The Negro doesn't run from the Bible either. He says, read your Bible every day, and you will find how healthily you will grow. The Bible should be read as a daily guide to right living and as a daily incentive to positive Christian service, he said. Do you get it? We can't just live any way we want without incurring disappointment or defeat on some or on many different levels. The law of nature and of nature's God won't allow that. There's a significant percentage of people in the world who can never succeed. They will never succeed as Americans define or perceive success. But there is not one who cannot have a better life through discipline and hard work, coupled with an accurate perception of life and what or who makes it worthwhile. We Americans are just spoiled. And it shows in the number of people on our welfare rolls and in our rock concerts and drug dens. Watch young people today. Regardless of where they are or what they're doing, they've got their heads glued to a video screen and they aren't watching the news of the day. Listen to them talk. They have very little understanding of the English language. And then they wonder why. Why are things not going the way I had expected? Is that your testimony? If your life's a mess, before you try drugs or endless therapy, try a disciplined lifestyle. Try a biblical lifestyle. It might help. And remember, it isn't everybody else's fault. You made the choices. You have to deal with the result.